So the command for creating the database is create database, database name. Database, what is meant by a database?
Storing objects.
Okay, storing objects.
Triggers or processes.
Okay, okay, everything.
A collection of master data and log file.
Very good, very good. Okay, database is a collection of data files and log files. Okay,
Log file.
database is a collection of data files and log files, and you can also say database is a repository where we can store the database objects like tables, views, stored procedure, triggers, everything. Okay, right. So in the last class we have discussed where we can see the user databases. If you create any user databases, those user databases will be created here. Okay, when you install SQL Server, you will also get system databases. When you install SQL Server by default, you will also get some system databases. How many system databases you will get? Anyone remember that one?
5.
4 and
Four
5
system.
for
Very good.
resource database.
Very good, very good. Okay, so usually we'll get 5 system databases, but whereas in the management studio, we can see only 4 system databases: master, model, MSDB, TempDB, and we have a separate class on these system databases. What master will do, what model will do, what MSDB will do, what TempDB will do, what resource database will do. So we have a separate class on this system databases and all. Okay, so this is how we have to create the database. If you want to create the database in a GUI mode, you can right click on the databases option. You can simply click on this new databases. You can give the database name. If you want to change the location of the data file, so database is a collection of data file and log files, right? So here once you just type the database name, okay, so you can see here database name, data file will be added, log file will be added. So file means you are going to store that file somewhere. File means it's a physical one, okay, physical item. So this physical item you can store in any of the location in the computer. Okay, you can store in C drive, you can store in D drive. So if you want to change the location of the data file and log file, simply you can change it here. Or else I don't want to change the data file log file location, it can be stored in the default location. In such cases, usually no need to change this path of the data file and log file. Okay, right? So usually in the organization, while installation itself, installation means after completion of the installation, we will have post installation steps. Okay, in the post installation steps, we will allocate a data file location and we will allocate a log file location. Okay, here where we can allocate that one. Here if you go to instance properties, okay, you can mention here, go to database settings. Okay, not memory, security, advanced, I guess. Yeah, here you can see, okay, database settings. You can see here database default location. Just 1 minute, someone sent message to me. Is my voice clear? Srinivas Ram, any issues with my voice?
Sometimes breaking, sir.
Sometimes it's breaking. Okay, okay. Right. Just let me know whenever it is breaking. Okay, I'll repeat again. Okay, fine. Prasad, okay. Just let me know if you're unable to hear anything. Okay, I'll repeat the sentence. Okay, right. Okay, fine. So here you can mention the default data file location and the default log file location. Okay, here you can click on this button. I don't have any other drives, right? I have only C drive. Okay. So if you are having multiple drives, D, E, F like that, you can expand any of the drive. You can, if you want, you can create any of the new folders for the data file and log file, or else you can give the existing folder location here. So whenever, if you give the location here and if you click OK, whenever you are creating a data file, sorry, database, whenever you are creating a database, automatically data files will go to that location, log files will go to that another location, which location you gave in the database settings, default settings. So like this, it can be done after the installation. That is called post installation steps. After installation, we will have post installation steps. Okay, at the end, I will tell you what are the post installation steps we have to change the service account, or else usually people are going to install the customized service account. If they don't install, what people will do usually, sometimes they will install with the default service account, later they will change it to customized service account. Okay, and they will change the authentication mode. Usually people will install with the Windows authentication, later they will change it to SQL Server authentication, or for the first time itself some people will install with SQL. It's their own wish. No one will ask you for the first time you have to do like this, like this, like this in the installation and all. Okay, you can do as per your convenience. After installation it should be standard. Okay, so for the standard procedure we are going to implement post installation steps like changing the service account, changing the authentication mode. Okay, yes, any issues? Okay, yeah, changing the service account, changing the authentication modes. Like this, we are going to change and changing the memory settings. We are going to allocate minimum memory, maximum memory, changing the memory settings and enabling the SP configure. Okay, and enabling the database mail. Okay, these are all some post installation steps are there. So now you cannot understand those things. Okay, database mail and all you cannot understand, right? Once the course is completed, I'll tell you what are the post installation steps. Usually in the organization, you will have a document, installation document will be there with everything like need screenshots and all, everything you can see there. Just if you know how to install SQL Server, that is enough. If you don't know also, if you know like if you have some kind of IT experience, by using that IT experience you can install. Why? Because for everything, if you go to a standard organization, okay, not this kind of startups and all they will ask us to prepare a standard document. Usually if you go to any big organization, there they will have a document for each and everything. You can simply open that document. Why? Because you have to open the document. Okay, there they will mention different service accounts names. There they will mention different login names, which login we have to add during the installation and all. So you have to open the document and you have to follow the instructions that are there in that particular document. Okay, they will mention everything. The post installation document also, those also well documented. The scripts and all will be there in the document. Simply you can execute that script during the post installation session. Okay, right. So any issues, any doubts? Okay, right. So we have discussed about this. Okay, I have a question. Okay, today I'm going to ask some versions, right? Versions of SQL Server and Windows Server. So let me ask you, okay, Ravi, how many versions are there in SQL Server, Ravi?
There are 2097, 2000,
Okay, okay, very good.
and 2005,
Okay,
2008, 2008 R2,
okay,
and 2012,
okay,
2014, 2016, 2017,
very good,
2019.
very good. Okay, fine, Ravi. What is the bill number for 2017? How it will start?
2017, 10, not 10, 11, I think. Bill number 10.1 something.
10.1. Okay, okay, fine. Okay. So what is the bill number for 2000? SQL Server 2000?
2000, it is 80, sir.
80. Very good. That means 8.0, right? Bill number is 8.0, right?
Yes.
Bill number always .0. Okay. Only for
Yes.
2008 or 2.50 will be there. Then what will be the bill number for 2005? If 2000 is 80 or 8.0, what will be the bill number for 2005?
It's 70.
Oh, no, 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 no. You have to increase. Why? Because I have increased the version, right?
Yeah. 2008, it's
2005. 5. Tell me the 2005 bill number. How it will start with the 2005? What is the bill number for 2005?
it's 110, sir.
Don't tell that folders. Folders are different. Folders are not build numbers. Okay. If you install
10,
SQL Server
10,
2000, yeah. So you have to tell 8 or 9 or
10 point.
yeah 10.0 for 2005. So this is which instance?
Yes, yes, yes.
This is which instance? Okay. Okay. So Ravi, you don't have any issues, right? If I'm asking questions and all.
No
Okay.
issues, sir.
Okay.
Please,
Okay. Okay.
please you ask more question to me, sir, please.
Okay. Okay. So what is this instance? Okay. Which instance it is? Which version it belongs to?
2005, sir.
2005.
How you can say to
Yeah.
it belongs to 2005?
90,
Nine.
9.0 means
Yes, very good.
uh,
So what is the bill number for SQL Server 2005?
it's 9.0.
Very good. Okay.
9.
What is the bill number for 2008?
It's a 10,
Okay.
10.0.
Okay. What is the bill number for 2008 R2?
Same 10.0.
No, no, no. 2008 R2 bill number is different. Okay. Folder is same 100. Okay. Folder is 100 when you install SQL Server 2008.
10.5.
8 or 8
10.5.
R2. Yeah. 8 or 8 R2 100 folder will be created. Okay. But the bill number
Right.
for 8
10.5.
is 10.0. Bill number for 8 R2 is 10.50. Okay. Right. In the
Right.
same way, what is the bill number for 2017?
8, it is 10.
Like that, yeah,
12,
you go.
it's,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Yeah. 12, it's
12, it is 8, it is.
no problem, no problem. Take time, okay?
5, it is 9. 8.2 is 10. 12 is equal to 11.
Very good.
11.0.
Like that, you just go for 17.
12, 14.
Okay.
It's 15. 14, sir.
14.
14.0.
Very good, very good. Okay, so for the bill number, the bill number for 2017 is 14.0. The bill number for 2019 is 15.0. Okay, it is very
15.
important to remember these bill numbers. By using this bill
Yes.
numbers only, you can identify the version of the SQL Server. Okay, fine, right. So yeah, you can mute. Okay, yeah. RAM.
Okay.
Okay, what are the Windows Server versions? RAM. What are the Windows Server versions? RAM, you are muted. Okay.
Windows 2003,
Okay.
Windows 2008,
Okay.
Windows 2008 R2,
Okay.
Windows 2012,
Okay.
Windows 2012 R2,
Okay.
Windows 2016.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Okay. So Windows 2019 is also there. Okay. 19 is a new latest version of Windows servers. Okay. Right. Okay. Fine. So we have discussed one value like a small kind of formula. Okay. To avoid the compatibility. Like till how many years? Till how many years of Windows Server version we can install SQL Server? What is that formula?
Adding +7 and -7.
Very good. Okay, +7 years to that version. Say, for example, if you want to find out whether your SQL Server 2005 can be installed on Windows Server 2008. Okay, in such case, on which version you want to install on Windows Server 2008. So for this Windows Server 2008 R2, you want to know what are the SQL Server versions I can install on Windows Server 2008. So for 2008, you have to go to -7 years to +7 years. What is the -7 years of 2008? 2001. What is the +7 years of 2008? 2015. So 2001 to 2015. Okay. How many versions are there? Those versions you can install, right? So here we have to take the baseline of SQL Server 2005. For SQL Server 2005, you have to take the baseline. For SQL Server 2005, what is the baseline? Means like what is the -7? 1998. And for SQL Server 2005, what is the baseline? +7. 2005 +7. 2012. So 1998 to 2012, what are the Windows Server versions are there? On all those Windows Server versions, you can install this 2005. Okay, right? So that is called -7 years to +7 years. And every time you have to calculate this -7 to +7 for SQL Server versions. I'm sorry, not Windows Server versions. You have to calculate it for SQL Server versions. For SQL Server versions, you have to add -7 to +7. Okay, right. So fine, that is okay. That is fine. Okay, Srinivas. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the build number? How many parts it will be?
4 parts had
Okay.
major version, minor version, actual
Okay.
bill number,
Okay.
revision history.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So what is the bill number for 2014?
14, 12.0.
12.0. And which folders are going to be created if you install SQL Server 2016?
16, 130,
Yeah.
110,
Very good.
120,
Very
90,
good. Very good.
70, 80.
Very good. What is meant by instance root directory?
Instance root directory,
Hmm.
in which we have SQL Server folder and inside which log folder we have bin folder,
Mm-hmm.
data folders.
Okay. Okay, very good. That data folder, till that folder, C program files, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, instance name folder will be there. That folder, if you go inside that instance name folder, you will have that. That path is called instance root directory. Okay, all right, fine.
Yes,
So fine, fine. Right. So how many services will be created once you install SQL Server to any version? How many services will be installed in the Windows machine if you install a SQL Server?
at the first time we have 6 instances.
6 services. Okay.
Okay, yeah, 6 services.
Okay.
3 are named, 3 are instance aware services, 3 are
Mm.
unaware services.
Okay, fine, fine. Why? Because I'm asking last time I told you today I'll take the interview, some all kind of interview, right? That's why I'm asking the questions. Okay, so I don't have any questions for Madhu and Prasad. Both are joined recently. Okay, so if you have any issues, just let me know, Madhu and Prasad. If you have any doubts, also let me know, or else we'll proceed for the session.
Okay, continue.
Okay, okay, thank you. Right. So now we'll see a service account. Okay, so I have completed my installation. I just installed my SQL Server with the default service account. Okay, so what are the default service accounts? Local system, local service, network service. These are the default service accounts. In that only we can use local system or local service. Okay. Okay, local system or network service. You cannot use local service as it is very low priority service account. Right. So I don't want to use my default service accounts. First, what is meant by a service account? I am saying service account, service account. What is meant by a service account first? Service account is an account which helps to run the service. Okay, we have already discussed about while installation. Service account is an account which helps to run the service. Okay, so what the service account will do exactly, if I want to say crispy, okay, what the service account do exactly? Anyone, can anyone tell? Okay, fine, no issues. Okay, so what is the use of the SQL Server? SQL Server is an RDBMS software which is going to store the data. Storing means what? How it is going to store the data? If you write the data to the disk, then only you can store the data, right? Where we can use to store the data, to process the data. Processing means what? Processing means anything. Processing means adding attributes. Processing means like mathematical processing, anything. And to retrieve the data, SQL Server is an RDBMS software which we can use for storing the data, processing the data, and of course, if you are storing terabytes of data, if you are unable to retrieve the data, what is the use of that software? Okay, so for storing purpose, for processing purpose, and for retrieving purpose, we are going to use this SQL Server, right? So storing means, of course, it has to write the data to the disk. Retrieving means, of course, it has to read the data from the disk. Okay, insert queries and select queries, right? So Whenever you are writing the data, so who will write? Someone should be there to write the data to the disk, right? Okay, that account is called service account. Service account is an account which helps to run the service in the as per the Windows architecture. Not only SQL Server will have service account, all the softwares that you are installing in the Windows machine will have the service accounts. All the softwares, okay, any software, like if you're installing an antivirus software, if you're installing virtualbox software, you have installed virtualbox, right? If you're installing any other third-party tools, okay, you will install some Avesta, something different softwares and all the softwares will run under service account. So if you go for the antivirus software, what is the use of the antivirus? It has to detect the virus files, right? So for that, what it will do, it will scan the all the files. Scanning means what? Reading. So who will read on behalf of the Avesta antivirus? That service account will read. Okay. So service account only can log into the folders. Service account only can log into the machine. Service cannot do all these things. Okay. So for here also, SQL Server also, one account will be there. It will write the data to the disk and it will read the data from the disk. Okay, that is called service account. We have two types of service accounts. One is default service account, second one is customized service account. Okay, default service account, whenever you're installing, you can select local system or network service, anything you can select for the default service account. For the customized service account, what you have to do, if you want to set up a customized service account, what you have to do, okay, you have to create one account first. Why? Because we have already discussed service account means it's a simple login, it's a user. Okay, so while log into the machine, usually say for example you have your laptops, all you are using your laptops. In your laptop, either you will log into administrator or else you will have your own name. Okay, Ram, or else like Madhu, you will set up your own name or else any other family member's name in the computer. Once you hit enter, automatically it will ask the password. You will give the password and you will log in. Why? Because why? If Madhu is there, okay, why Madhu can able to log into in that machine? Say for example, Madhu created a username for his any of this brother. Imagine he's having a brother, and for his brother he created an account. Madhu doesn't have account. Can Madhu log in with his name into that laptop? No, he has to give his brother name and that password. So once you give the brother name and password, that name is already created in that laptop. So it will verify the name and it will verify the password. Then only it will allow you to log into the machine. Here also, service account is also one kind of user only. Okay, first it has to log into the laptop. If it has to log into the laptop or else if it has to log into the machine, what it means, a user account has to be created. A user account has to be created in that machine. Then only that particular account can be logged into that particular machine. If the user account is not created, it cannot be logged in. So that